Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. I have another Kamen Rider X-Aid review for you today. This is 14th in the Level Up Rider series, Kamen Rider Paradox. As you can see, he has two forms. The blue is for Perfect Puzzle, and then the red is for Knockout Fighter, or Puzzle Gamer and Fighter Gamer, as it shows here on the front of the box. So dual up, he can change from one to the next. Here's a cool picture on the side of Puzzle Gamer for Perfect Puzzle, and then Fighter Gamer for Knockout Fighter. Not too much going on the bottom, not a whole lot going on the top, just kind of this picture kind of cascades down to the top of the box. And then on the back, it just kind of shows how you can switch from one to the other, which of course we'll take a look at. So let's go ahead, get him out of the packaging, and we'll take a closer look. Alright, so here he is out of the packaging. And I think it looks pretty good. I really like the paint and the detail. I like the kind of like weird shapes that he has here on his torso and his legs. To me, that kind of looks like video game-ish, like almost like when they do pixelated things, but also kind of like puzzle pieces. So it's kind of a neat motif there. You can see the head, and I'll try to get a little bit closer here to the head and chest so we can take a look at that. But you can see the puzzle pieces here on the inside of his chest. And I like his face. He's got this kind of one long bang here in the middle. And the eyes look kind of neat. I like the shoulder pads. I think they're good. They can kind of move a little bit because of how the joint is inside. And I'll show you that when I take them off in a minute. But the head is kind of on a ball joint here. You can see it really just kind of rocks back and forth. You have a little bit side to side, but because of the way this collar is done, it limits the head articulation. So there's not a whole lot going on. But if you rock it back, you can kind of get a little bit of side to side, but not a whole lot. You have the typical up and down joint in the shoulder as well as all the way around. Now, the shoulders do hinder it a bit in this mode, but when we get to the other mode, you'll see they get taken off, so right back to normal shoulder articulation. You have the bicep swivel, you have 90 degrees in the elbow, normal wrist movement, and then the fingers, of course, you have the two sets of fingers that open and close. So pretty much standard for the Level Up Rider series. You have the waist swivel, same legs. You even have the same double jointed knee, even though it really doesn't make sense to try to put him into one of the Level Up bodies, so I'm not going to bother showing that to you. He does not have a face on his back, so it doesn't make sense to try to give him a level up, or I'm sorry, a level 1 form. So I'm not going to bother. But he does have the double jointed knees because he uses the same mold. Oops, and I just knocked this off. A little bit of a preview of what's to come. But yeah, I like this mode a lot. I like the blue. Like I said, I love the kind of pixelated puzzle motif on his upper thighs and midsection here. And of course, I love the blue. I think he looks great. From the back, you can kind of see Knockout Fighter, so that's kind of a bummer, but necessary for how the toy works. And then here on the shoulder, you can see the Gashette Gear Duel there. So that's pretty cool. I like that. Nice detail there. But yeah, he doesn't come with any accessories. This is exactly how he comes in the package in the Perfect Puzzle mode. So not a whole lot to this mode as far as accessories, or, well, there's no accessories, but there's not a lot other than showing off the articulation. But what I'll do now is we'll go ahead and we'll change him into Knockout Fighter. So I just moved a little closer. It's very simple. You're just going to take these pieces off, and how they work, so I can get in closer. You can see there's just a little peg right here where my finger is, and this piece can kind of move. If I can get it to focus here. Here we go. So you can see the peg right there. And then you can see there's a joint right above that so that these can move a little bit. I mean, really, you can move it all the way as much as that. Doesn't really make sense to, but it does move that much. And then you're just going to turn them around, and you can see the flames here for the boxing gloves. So this is the peg it was pegged into. Now you're just going to peg it into this peg on the forearm. So very simple. Now you just peg it on this peg hole instead. It's kind of a little annoying with the way it rocks to try to get it pegged in all the way, but you can do it. You just kind of have to find a spot where the peg will stand still so you can get it all the way in. Now, they don't cover the fists entirely, as you can kind of see, which is a bit of a bummer. Doesn't completely ruin it for me, but I think that's a little weird. I wish they covered the fists a little bit more. Not a big deal. But you can see now that the shoulder articulation, you can get full shoulder articulation up and down and around. So that comes back. Next thing you're going to do is the dial on the back. You're just going to spin that, and as you can see, as that happens, the thing in the chest changes. So now he's got the flames for Knockout Fighter. And then last thing to do, now when I'm first looking at this, I'm thinking I need to change this. How is this going to work with this collar? But you actually turn the whole head, the collar included. So you're going to spin that whole piece around. So now the collar's in the back. So don't try to turn the head on the ball joint. Make sure you're turning the whole collared piece, because I did that at first and I'm like, no, that's not right. I don't want to break this thing. And unfortunately, this doesn't come with directions. It's just here on the top of the box. I don't know if this is a new trend they're starting to save money, but I noticed that Zombie Gamer was the same way. He did not have instructions in the box. He just had a little bit of instructions printed on the back of the box. Now, if you're someone like me who keeps most of the boxes, not a big deal. But if you're someone who finds it a lot easier to just keep instruction sheets instead of these cumbersome boxes, it's kind of a bummer. I guess you kind of have to cut that piece out and just hold on to it. So I think it's kind of lame. I would rather go back to written instruction sheets or printed instruction sheets. So I'm hoping that's not something that's going to be going forward, but I'm kind of afraid it is. But in any case, he left here with Knockout Gamer, and I like him a lot. As much as I liked the blue, the red and gold really works, and it kind of ties in the rest of the color scheme. The gold and the blue looked good as well, but since the red has some gold on it, I feel like it really brings the whole thing together. And I love the head. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer here. So I like that a lot. Again, I think the thing in the chest is really cool. It's a nice little detail that they added. It really, adds to the new mode. And I love the face. I love the red hair. I think it looks great. Now again, you still have Puzzle Gamer's head on the back, which is kind of a bummer. But otherwise, really, really, really like both modes. I can't decide. I really like the look of this guy with the boxing gloves, but I really love I love the blue of Puzzle Gamer as well, so I'm kind of torn. I can't decide which is my favorite. I think even though blue is my favorite color, I think Knockout Fighter might skimp by a little bit more and might end up being my favorite out of the two. But they're both really fun modes. So real quick, I wanted to show that it is still a Level Up Rider series figure, so it is compatible with these other armors and whatnot for level 3, even though technically he's level 50, so it doesn't really make sense for him to use these. I just wanted to kind of show that he does still have the slots here behind his head on his shoulders. So you'd kind of have to do something like bring this down and peg that in, and then bring this up and peg it into these holes here on his midsection. And it's kind of a pain to do, but it's kind of a pain to do for all of them, to be honest. His isn't any more or less hard. There we go. Once we get that done, then we can move these over, push this up, and then pop on the hands, which I'm trying to remember how we do this. I think this pegs in. It's been a while since I've messed with these. I'm pretty sure that it pegs into the forearm. Yes? No? That's definitely too high. Maybe I have to turn the hand, I think. I think the peg goes in the hand. There we go. See, I told you it's been a while. But I'll get it. There we go. Then you get your crazy giant robot hand. So yes, even though it doesn't really make sense for a level 50 to pop on a level 3 Gashette, who knows, maybe it makes him level 52. I don't know. In any case, it can be done. Looks a little weird, and he's certainly still very back heavy. But of course you'd have to take the shoulder pads off, because there's no way you're going to fit the shoulder pad on there. So, I mean, you could probably still leave this head, if that's what you want. I'm not going to bother trying to turn it around right now. But you could probably turn the neck around still to use the Paradox Puzzle Gamer head. but you definitely have to take the shoulder pads off. But just to showcase, you can go ahead and put these other armors on these figures. I like this guy a lot. I think it's weird that it took so long for him to come out because he's definitely been in the show for, I want to say, like a month. The Gashak Gear Duel seems like it came out forever ago, but I'm not sure why it took so long to come out, but now that he's finally out, I like him a lot. I like both modes. It's fairly easy to change back and forth from one mode back to the other. They both have a nice distinct look. The color palettes and schemes are really good. It's a bummer he doesn't really come with any accessories, but he doesn't really use any accessories on the show, so it makes sense. It's neat that he can use the armors from the level 3s. Doesn't really make sense as far as the scope and plot of the show, but the figure can do it because it's still the same base Level Up Rider series figure. He has the double jointed knees, so you could technically try to put him into a level 1 body, but again, doesn't make sense, but the functionality's there. So, I don't really have anything to complain about. I like the figure a lot. I think everything looks good. But let me know what you guys think. I want to hear from you. Please let me know in the comments below. Please like and share this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope you guys enjoyed this look at Level Up Rider 14, Kamen Rider Paradox from Kamen Rider X8. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching.